Hello and welcome to this edition of Turnaround Marriage Live. And if you're out there today and you know in your marriage that you have been stuck in cycles of arguments, maybe it's been months or maybe even it's been years and you're sick and tired of it and you want it to stop, this is exactly where you need to be today. And so, guys, first of all, I want to say if you're coming to us on Facebook, make sure that you're a part of our Turnaround Marriage community. Make sure also you're part of our Turnaround Marriage transformational coaching page. You'll search Turnaround Marriage. You're going to find both those. Also, on YouTube, if we got our YouTube channel there. If you're coming to us there, make sure you like and subscribe and share this content. It will mean the world to us. So, guys, yes, I want to dive into this subject today. I was just speaking to one of amazing couples, and they were sharing with me that they had gotten into the really big argument. And it's not like it hadn't happened before. In fact, they were very much used to cycles of arguments that kept coming up. And when I was talking to them and I was diving in with them about what came up for them, what were those feelings, what was happening in the moment? Because always the arguments are always a whole lot more than the thing that you're talking about. It's always more than the finances or what happened with the kids, right? We're always, it's the meaning that we're making out of what our spouse says to us that rises up within us. Emotions and feelings, and then we get hurt or we get angry or we get frustrated, and then the argument begins to escalate. So I was diving into this conversation that they were having that turned into an argument, and we got to the heart of the matter. And what she was feeling was, why does he not understand? After all these years, I just want to feel safe and I want to feel protected. And we got into the heart of the matter for him too. Why doesn't she understand? After all these years, I just want common courtesy. I just want her to look up to me. I just want her to communicate to me that she looks up to me, that she honors me, that she doesn't look down at me, that I'm a strong man. And we got into the heart of the matter for them, and they began to really see so much what was going on. Because what they were arguing about, I don't even remember what it was because it was actually irrelevant. It was what they were making things to mean. And that's exactly what happens. And that's what happens when we get into those cycles of arguing that just keep coming up. And whether you're arguing about finances, even if it's come up over and over again, or it's about the children and how to discipline them, or decisions that have to be made for them, or about the in-laws or extended family or plans for the future, whatever is coming up, the heart of the matter isn't necessarily, and I'm not saying those things don't matter. It's kind of like there's symptoms of the underlying problem. So what was going on in this particular case of this example that I gave you was that they were actually hungry. They had needs. And in that moment, they were not only not feeding each other, in their own hurt, they were refusing to feed and to nourish the other person and to nourish the marriage. And so they were in a cycle of malnutrition in their marriage. Now, they were growing and learning different patterns, and that conversation is going to be a breakthrough for them. And I would just say, like, when it is, you're not feeling nourished, you're not receiving what you need from your spouse. It's not what you want. Men and women are wired differently too. It's what you uniquely as a man or as a woman need from your spouse. And everybody's a little bit different. But the heart of the problem is that you're not receiving what you need. And the heart of it is also you're not giving it to the other person. Now, you might be giving what you think that you would want. And therein lies the problem for a lot of successful people. They're giving what they would want their spouse to give to them instead of what their spouse actually needs. And when you can see that, when you can break out of some of these cycles by seeing in that moment that your spouse actually has needs, everything can begin to change. So what happens also, and Rachel wrote a really great article yesterday about how a lot of people think what they need almost is like, we need to go to an expert and help us to figure this out. We need to go to a counselor. We need to go to our pastor, and they need to like help us determine who's more right and who's more wrong. Because oftentimes it's like you're hurting and you're trying to give to the other person what you need, and it's not working. And so you're butting heads, and it seems like you need someone to intervene and like convey your side of the story to the other person, or to blow the whistle, or to throw the flag, or to bring the judgment, the hammer down, like whatever it means, whatever you're looking for. Oftentimes that's actually what you don't need. People think that all of the time. What they actually need is to begin to think about and to give to what to their spouse what they actually need. So let's think about, even from a larger perspective, of what happens. Like when you're first interested in someone and you start dating and you get to know each other, and even when you're engaged, and even in the first few years potentially of marriage, it's like you're thinking always about, what is it that my spouse needs? Of course you are. You're trying to impress them. And at that point, obviously, they're not a spouse, obviously, but you're always trying to impress them. You're trying to give to them. You're trying to love them in tangible ways. And you're always, always thinking about what it is that the other person needs. And what happens, not only begin to get familiar with each other, obviously, but life gets busy and you get focused on school or careers. You're focused on the children. And it's like you're two ships passing in the night. And somewhere along the line, you forgot. And you forgot how much the other person needed that. And the way that God designed it, my friends, we go back to Genesis, and one of God's first commandments was to be fruitful and multiply. The statement meaning that not only do we have a number of children, but that as God's people, we are, and we get married, the marriage is the vine, and the children are the fruit of the vine. And the children who are the fruit need the vine to be healthy, for them to be actually nourished, and not the other way around. Doting on the fruit when the vine isn't healthy is never, ever, ever going to work. So the answer, my friends, is to go back to the heart of the matter, to go back to the root. And what is it in that root? How is it in your marriage or in your spouse that it's been malnourished, that they have been malnourished? And when you start to feed it, start to feed them, everything can come springing back. It's very true. And it's like a plant that hasn't been watered in a week, and it's drying out, and it's not looking very healthy. And you add water to it and it comes shooting back. And that is if it's still not dead. And a lot of times, guys, there's so much hurt that can happen that marriages can die. But we're here to tell you that God can bring life back from the dead oftentimes. So guys, the answer going forward is to give more of what the other person needs. And here's the rub here. This couple was the type of people that everybody in their church would look up to. Sometimes they go to them for spiritual advice. Upstanding members of culture, of their society, of their city. People look up to them, successful in so many different aspects of life. And then at home, behind closed doors, all kinds of arguing and hurts and brokenness and dysfunction in their home. Now, God's healing that, and it's amazing to see what God is doing. And it's amazing when they start to feed each other, what begins to happen as that marriage is nourished. So if you're out there today and you're hearing this, the answer is to really just pause and to ask, what is it that my spouse needs in this moment? And sometimes you can actually ask that question, because when arguments arise, hear me when I say this, when arguments come up, they have a need that's not being met. It's as simple as that. So what is it that they need? Now, a lot of times I'll just tell you, you guys out there, you're thinking, okay, Scott, I get it. That sounds great, but I don't really understand what he needs. Or there's so many hurts, we don't know how to untangle this web because I'm so angry still, or I'm so frustrated, or we've been doing this for so long. Guys, I want to encourage you. If you are out there today and you are successful in so many different aspects of life, and you are sick and tired of it, sick and tired of the vicious cycles of going back and repeating the same stuff over and over again, having those same arguments without any resolution. Guys, I want to encourage you to book a breakthrough call with us, because what we're going to do is help you to identify clearly what are those vicious cycles, so that we can see clearly what they are, but then not just stay there. Also talk about what you hope and dream that your marriage can look like. And really, what is it that God has in his heart for your marriage? And if you are sick and tired, if you're out there and you want to get on the phone and complain, we don't want to get on the phone with you. But if you're sick and tired of the fighting, either you're one person or as a couple, let's get on that breakthrough call at turnaroundmarriage.com/call. You guys pick a time. Let's talk about that. What are those vicious cycles? Let's talk about what you want. And then we'll talk about a real strategy to get there. And if we're 100% confident that we can help you and we're a good fit in working together, we're absolutely going to talk about what that investment would look like, investing in you, investing in the marriage, investing in your family and your legacy from here on forward. Guys, if that's you, book that call today. And guys, I'm here to tell you, you can choose to make those cycles of arguments to stop. Until next time.